Hey Fight fans, what's up? I'm Phoenix Carnevale and this is my martial arts video journal. Last weekend I had the absolute pleasure of experiencing the Paradise Warrior Retreat at the Renzo Gracie Academy in New York City. Now when I say paradise, I'm not talking palm trees and fruity drinks. I'm talking paradise for any martial artist or fight fan. That means learning footwork and takedowns from former lightweight champion Frankie Edgar. Passing the guard with the legendary Renzo Gracie. Boxing for MMA with Mark Henry. How to set up your leg kicks with Edson Barboza. Chokes with middleweight champion Chris Weidman. Feints and Muay Thai combinations with Marlon Moraes. At the Paradise Warrior Retreat, we got a chance to learn, connect, and train with the best in the world, make some new friends, and have a lot of fun. We got to experience these athletes as not just fighters, but as martial artists.
Emcees out there. Worldwide. Emcees out there.
So the first fight, I was fighting against Silva, the greatest of all time. Everyone, everybody thought I was going to get killed. A lot of people thought I was going to get killed.
Dude, I was totally against
fun. I wasn't worried. People close to me were like, so fighting against Silva?
Are you sure about that?
I'm dead. I'm going to lose, I know. I just ended up just telling people, yeah, I'm losing. I'm dead. It surprises people to hear that, but whatever. So basically, there's no secrets, there's no magic bullet. I work very, very hard. I work as hard as I possibly can every day. And it gives me the mentality that no one deserves to beat me. And everybody sees this great Renzo Silva, and I was a fan of his too. I'm still a fan of his, and he's awesome, but I just thought I was better. And I was like, I'm going to prove it.
Nice. Good too.
So,
and you did.
And you did.
Yeah,
did you feel it break? Did you feel it break, or you just saw him go down?
I just knew that I checked it really good.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew that. I've checked guys' legs in this whole camp. After the first fight, I got leg kicked a lot. My leg was bothering me for like 2-3 weeks. So I'm like, I did not want to get leg kicked again. And I knew Renzo Silva was going to come at me with leg kicks. So every single day, like I was never big into shadow boxing, even showing checks and stuff like that. Just everything in my mindset changed, and I'm not letting this guy kick me anymore. So.
Herb Dean with his like early stoppage stuff.
I think he's an awesome ref, to be honest.
I mean, but were you at the favorite fight? You're at favorite fight?
But you know what?
He was defending himself, though.
Listen, I love Uriah Faber. He was, instead of defending himself, he was putting his thumbs up. I think that's what happened, right?
Yeah, he put his thumb up. He was fine.
He wasn't changing positions. He was
He
just
was covering. He was covering.
Right.
He wasn't defending. He wasn't defending. He wasn't.
But that
he
was
wasn't like
defending,
moving.
Yeah.
I forgot the word that.
He wasn't going to change.
Yeah, but it was like a split second though. Like he went down.
What about ceremony?
No, he had gotten hit with like 10 to 12
At what
shots.
point do you just let a fighter like, okay, anytime he's gonna explode? How many times has Uriah been in trouble and he gets up and then he gets out of it? Give a fighter enough time to recover. You said it yourself. You trained so hard.
He got
stumbled
like pretty bad in that though.
He did get caught and he went down.
Defending himself.
That's not defending.
He was
Just holding in
That's
position.
defending himself. It wasn't any clean hits.
You have to move.
You have to try to recover a position, pretty much.
That I understand, but
I understand it's controversial, but I wouldn't call out the ref on it, like because.
Yeah, but in the last fight, with the McMahon fight, the last fight was a Pyle, right? That dude was ground and pound. That dude was he didn't stop that fight, but then the other one, he stopped to like.
You're not asking him a question.
Give a person a time to recover.
I like her. This is the conclusion. Yes. I like Herb Dean, but yes, there's some controversial calls lately, but I think he's the best ref in the game. Okay. But sometimes you just have a fight that is a tough situation, and you have to make a call, and there's going to be 50% of the fans against you, and then 50% of the other guys are going to be with you. So you just got to, there's always going to be people like you going nuts on him. So 2008, I tried for Olympic. Actually, we'll rewind. And in 2007, I got injured. I was doing wrestling. I got injured, and I was helping out some UFC fighters with wrestling. Pete Cell and some other MMA guys. Monster, if you guys are around, you might know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you know. So I was helping them out, and they wanted me to do jiu-jitsu. I'm like, I don't really want to do it, whatever. You know, I got the Olympics coming up the next year. But so I ended up doing it. I went down to Sarah's. I did 3 months of jiu-jitsu. I entered into a grappler's quest. I did my weight and absolute division. Probably read this 13 submissions, 13 matches all by submission. My weight class and absolute. Won a $1,000 check, won the championship belt, won all that stuff. I'm like, wow, this is freaking awesome. I can do this every week, every month at least, because that's when it happens. And I'm like, and I never made money. I never made money before. I never had money. So I'm like, this is awesome. And that's what kind of got me into it. But I was still coaching at Austria, and I was getting my master's. My wife wouldn't let me fight at that point, so it was on to wrestling and coaching. And then the next year after I didn't make the Olympics, I got hurt. Didn't even go to the trials. Then I'm like, you know what? I had to get my wife on board, which was a disaster.
Most of the MMA guys have like a wrestling background, or those who have a wrestling background tend to fare a lot better in MMA than someone coming from any other type of background. So it's just like, what could you recommend to say, like, okay, these are some drills you should definitely do, like you said, the high crotch, single, double.
Yeah, just hand fighting is huge, because that's just a tough part of wrestling. Just get on the guy's head, pulling him, learning how to wear a guy down and then into your takedowns is definitely something you should be doing. Yeah, wrestling is just such a grueling, tough sport that after doing it makes everything so much easier. That's why people don't really do it, because there's so many injuries. If you ask any MMA fighter, the one thing what's the toughest type of practice that you have is always wrestling.
Yeah.
And what they probably don't do enough is wrestling, because it sucks. It's grueling, and there's a lot of pain and injuries and whatever. It's not fun, someone manhandling you, throwing around, especially if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. So one thing all right, so Anderson Silva was my favorite fighter, and then you come along, right? And so you beat him, but I looked at it scientifically. I was like, it wasn't just because his hands down. It was this guy. You know when you shoot guns, anyone shoot guns in here? Yes. All right, when you shoot, there's a kickback. And I suck at shooting because I'm always afraid of the kickback. When people fight Anderson Silva, they're always afraid of the kickback. And you were like, whatever, pop! And you weren't afraid of what he was going to do after he moved his head, and you stayed on him, and that's why you beat him. So I'm like, wow, this guy, he might beat him again, right? And I think the reason why you're so good, Chris, is because you're extremely adaptable. So every fight is a new Chris Weidman for the next fight. It's almost like you pick up. It's almost like you pick up new skill sets every single time. Look, I'm a Thai boxer. I don't check every single kick. You went from not checking kicks to checking kicks in a 5-month training time span until you fought him again. So my question is, as a fighter, how do you become so adaptable? Because you know how people, we get set in our ways, like you're a stand-up guy, and then they try to teach you a different foot position. You're like, shit, I can't do it. So how did you make yourself so adaptable?
I don't know. I'm very open-minded. I think that's why I picked up things fast.
You're natural.
No.
Your mind is like a parachute, right? It only works if it's open.
You guys are all trying to get on my good side.
I know.
No, but like, I just think I'm very open-minded. When I did jiu-jitsu, the first thing I did for those 3 months, I worked for my back.
Yeah.
Because I knew wrestling, from a wrestling background, it was going to be easy to get on top of guys and control them and really not go for things and not try to get submitted. It's one of those things that's going to come more natural. But for me, I went on my back, and I was getting passed, and I was getting submitted in the beginning, and I'm like, I wanted to learn from the worst case scenarios. And I'm probably best off my back now, but I've never been on my back in a UFC fight.
Right.
So when all of a sudden one day I do go to my back, and you're going to come to the next seminar and say, how did you adapt to being such a good back fighter? It's just a long time of hard work, and I've been doing it, but just not in fights.
Right.
So same thing with leg checks. Like for my last fight, the first fight with Emcees Silva, I didn't check any leg kicks, but in training I've been checking leg kicks since day one.
Yeah.
But for that particular fight, it wasn't one of the things I was worried about, because I thought he was going to be more worried about the takedowns so I didn't think he was going to leg kick me. Learned my lesson, and then it looks like I'm just like a freak, but it's just really very slow improvement over time. Just I come in and I just very focused. At night when I go to sleep, I'm just not going to sleep. I'm focusing. Whatever I learned that day, I'm just thinking about playing it over to do it again the next day. Just like, my wife hates me because all I do is think about fighting.
And now the second thing was
I have ADD.
TRT, of course, is like huge right now. And it's a really big deal. And I think it's great because now it's going to teach people that, no, you shouldn't use it. You don't need it. You said it was the best thing that could possibly happen. Why do you feel that way?
All right, I stopped paying attention for a second. Wait.
He was thinking about submissions.
Now, yeah, I was actually thinking. So
Now I know how your wife feels.
So you were saying...
I was saying, you said
why do
TRT
I
is like...
think TRT doesn't belong? Oh.
Yeah, you said it was one of the best things that happened to the sport. Like, why do you feel that way?
Because I just think that it's just one of those things that shouldn't be in the sport. You know, it's a sport where guys punch each other in the head, kick each other in the head, and testosterone is one of those things that's going to really help that. You know? And our sport, more than others, when you get older and you have more experience, it's so important. That's why the peak of fighters is so much higher. Like guys are champs at 35, 36, 37, 38, because you need athleticism and you also need a lot of experience.
Right.
So it peaks higher than other sports. So if you're able to have a young man's body and have the experience of an old man, I mean it's unfair.
Yeah.
It's not fair. If you're getting older, you need to have that drop off in a physical way, and then your experience makes up for it. But if you have both at the same time, not naturally, it's not fair.
Your game plan for the draft.
What's my game plan?
You ain't gonna tell us right now.
Why? Don't say anything. All right, what are your thoughts on it?
I'll say my game plan. I've said every single fight. I don't know if you've ever seen an interview of mine, but every single time, I'm going to walk forward. I'm going to try to punch him in the face.
Do your job.
If I can't punch him in the face, I'm looking for a takedown. It's all about perception. The second the guy thinks I'm going to punch him, I'm going to take him down. The second he thinks I'm going to punch him, I might kick him. And vice versa. So it's just about deception. It's going to be a game in there. It's a chess match. Right. When he thinks something coming, it's going to hopefully be something else. And he's going to try to do the same thing to me. So it's just, everyone has different styles. So if you're going into particulars, okay, as soon as he leaps in with his straight left or his knee or his kick or his takedown, those are like the couple things he does. Mm-hmm. And I know you have more, Leo, though, but I'm going to hopefully have answers for whatever he brings to the table.
To the Silva fights, the first one, did you see him doing a Harlem Shake and hit him?
This is a Harlem Shake.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
he was like...
Yeah, well, he was doing that for pretty much the whole fight.
Yeah.
And I expected him to do that. He's done in other fights.
That extra jab.
Yeah, that was...
Oh, yeah. I just got to the point I just wanted to hit him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like annoying.
That was it. I'm like... I just felt that. I felt everybody on their couches at home just like, hit him!
I felt everyone on their couch.
No, it was a shot. We were going against him, man. Definitely.
I was thinking
And we were like,
I feel like it was, you know what? I think I was frustrating him, to be honest, in the first fight. Like, he's used to doing that after picking people apart.
Yeah.
You feel like you're not doing anything, but he wasn't hitting me, and he's doing it. And I'm just like,
I
think he started getting frustrated. To be honest with you, I took him down. I hit him with a good punch on the ground. I'm talking about the first fight. Hit him with some good shots. On my feet, he wasn't hitting me. I was hitting him, with the exception of some leg kicks.
Yeah.
And, so I think he was just frustrated. And then I got to the point, like, yo, stop. You're not showboating unless you're beating me. You're not showboating. So shut up. That was pretty much.
Do you think he's going to come back? Do you think he should come back?
I hope he comes back. I think it's going to be more of a, I think physically he'll be all right, but I think mentally it's going to be a tough struggle to come back.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's up to the people. If
like
people really want to see a trilogy, it's fine with me.
Did you feel content? I mean, in a sense.
I feel very content.
Yeah.
I would have rather not finished it that way. I would have rather.
That's what I'm saying.
I'd like to finish them another way, but I'm truly content knowing I'm better than him. If I wasn't content, I'd be like, I can't wait for him to come back.
Well, because when we see me watching the
like
fight, it's almost like the look on your face, almost like you weren't content to beat him that way.
I was definitely not. I was forcing a smile out, winning. I'm like, why do I feel like this? This sucks.
Yeah.
But just thinking about it, like, it's not one of those things where I have to be in the mirror with him again. I just have no real. When you know, like, I want to fight because you want that competitive. You want to compete against the best, and someone that has a chance of beating you. Yeah, but not saying he doesn't have a chance of beating me, but I just think
Challenge.
It's not as the challenge it used to be. I just think I knocked him out on his feet. I dropped him in the clinch. I hit him hard on the floor. Went for submissions. I don't know. He's never beat me. He didn't beat me any second of any round. Right.
What's your first movie gonna be?
Expendables.
We honestly, you and Matt Sarash and Longo could have a comedy
Matt
for
Sarash and
sure.
Longo should definitely do reality shows.
It's going to be against Machida. I mean, when you beat him, like, what are people going to think? You argue with
whoa,
those
whoa,
are the two
whoa.
best Brazilian Those are arguably the two best Brazilian fighters. You come in, your first 3 fights, you go 1 year from unknown to just knocking these guys.
Yeah, that's like winning an Academy Award your first movie.
What do you Brazilians think people are going to think about? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. You tell me. I don't know.
They did the same thing.
I realize one thing. You can't. If you get into what all the good things that people are saying about you, you're going to get really into all the bad things people are saying about you. So good and bad, I try not to focus on because I've had my heart broken from the people. from Twitter before. In the beginning, he used to kill me. I'm like, why don't you like me? Everything. I put it, it's real, now it doesn't bother me at all. Zero.
Is John Jones afraid of you? Like,
Hang on, hey, I'm talking. I put up a picture of like me and my daughter. It's like, you suck, you're gonna die. You're like,
What?
I'm like,
Cyberbullying to
I
the
know, right? To the
world champion.
oh, go on my Instagram and Twitter, you'll see it.
That's terrible.
Oh wait, you were.
Story.
Oh, you missed that
How
out.
did you start liking martial arts?
It's all from the beginning now.
From the bottom.
Starstruck. Have you ever been starstruck, Chris?
Yes, I've been Starstruck plenty of times.
Over who?
I remember Dan Henderson, my first time seeing him, I was Starstruck. We're talking about fighters. I did like an appearance, my first appearance ever, like in Atlanta. And Dan Henderson was in the area. He has no idea that I
Was starstruck over
He
him?
didn't know who I was. And I actually tried to say hi to him, and it didn't work out. I got nervous. He's busy. I don't want to bother him.
She was starstruck.
Were you?
Aww.
We drove up from New Hampshire.
Yeah. How do you know she's Starstruck?
Well, because she couldn't sleep. That's my daughter.
Awesome. That's pretty cool. Cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
How you really doing?
So I was training with her, and I give an applause to her because she wants to run her own women's school in MMA.
Really?
And has been training since she's 8 years old, and I think that's really awesome.
Oh.
What do you think of Geekery as an opponent?
Good opponent.
Like, stylistically, in comparison to Machida or...
Everyone in the division, they have different things that pose problems. You know,
Yeah.
Machida's elusive, and you can't get overly zealous with things. And Geekery is more of a ground guy.
You come from
Athletic, you know, so it's just different things that you have to prepare for. All right, let's do a group picture, guys.
Yay!
MCs out there. MCs out there. MCs out there. Worldwide. MCs out there. Worldwide. MCs out there. Worldwide.